And they're on us to make sure everybody got a raffle ticket for the free drawing for the cookbook. If you didn't get one, raise your hand. Please don't ask for two. That's cheating. Just joking. My name is Pastor Carl Joy. I'm the local pastor of the Searsmont Church, and we'd like to welcome everybody here today. We're glad you're here. We hope you find this a blessing and an educational experience. Margaret comes with a wealth of knowledge and information. She's trained, if you look in your handouts there, she's been trained in a lot of different areas in health ministry, from natural remedies, hydrotherapy, plant-based diet, and the list goes on. And we're so fortunate to have her here with us. She has 10 years experience, and she's a great presenter, and I think you're going to be blessed today by what she has to share on how to make vegan cheese, milk, and butter, and to get off dairy products, which we know today can have issues. So a little bit about us, there's a handout in there. Some of you may have read the book Blue Zones. Adventists are known to live 10 years longer than the average U.S. population because we have a health message based on a vegetarian lifestyle, diet, exercise, clean air, fresh exercise, all these things that go along with being healthy. And a little bit of that is, I can't remember the news agency that did that piece that we put in there, but it's in there if you can peruse that. But God gave us the original diet. It's no secret. What he gave Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden was what? Plants, right? Nuts, grains. And these are the things that our bodies were designed to consume. So I'm going to turn this over to Margaret. Before I do, I'd just like to have a word of prayer to bless this meeting, if you don't mind bowing your heads. Father in heaven, as we open our meeting today, Father, this class, I ask for you to be present with your Spirit, open our hearts and minds to the health message you have for us. We know, Father, that it's your plan that we live long, healthy lives and that we enjoy life to its fullest. And so we believe that you're here with us this day, and we ask it in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Also, before I step down, I just want to introduce the gentleman over here to my right, your left, is Michael Fitch. He's our Bible worker. And if you have any questions, also be willing to see him. I don't know if you're going to take a break or what your plan is.
Well, it won't take me too long to do the break at all. So we can go straight through it, and then we can
let Mike
have question answers or time to try the things. I brought samples of everything, so that'll be set up at the very end. So everything I make, you're going to get to sample before you go. And if there's any left, you can take some with you too.
And Mike just wanted to go over a few things as well, and then we'll start.
Sure. Well, like you said, it's nice to see everyone here. My name is Michael, and I just want to bring your attention to a lot of the things that are going on today. I'm really looking forward to this because I like to eat, and we're all going to eat here. Do you like to eat? I'm looking forward to that. So we actually have this for free. We gave you some raffle tickets. This is a cookbook, A Better Way of Life. It's 120 vegan recipes. So everyone who has a red ticket will be doing a drawing. Secondly, I want to bring your attention to this blue folder. Everyone should have a blue folder. Just some of the materials that are in there. I've been privileged to know Margaret for a few weeks now. She's got a wealth of knowledge. I think you're really going to gain a lot from today. And the first page just goes over some of her credentials and experience. So if you have a chance to maybe talk to her, ask some questions about vegan or a plant-based diet, I really think you should take that opportunity. If you go beyond that, behind it, you're going to see some recipes. So a lot of the recipes that she's going to teach us about today, you're going to walk home with those recipes so you can do that in your own home and you can take advantage of that. Pastor Carl mentioned the blue zones. You should see a green document in here that has some information that talks about how people who make these, behind that finally there'll be a blue thick magazine. It's called Amazing Health Secrets. It's a really interesting magazine put out by a group called Amazing Facts about healthy health choices and what the Bible has to say about that. Now, to the right, I really want you to pay attention to this one, too. We are looking to do a lot of free health events here in the community so people can make healthy choices, kind of live life to the fullest. And we kind of need your help for that. It's a survey. And the survey is basically asking, what are your interests? What are health events that you think you would benefit from? Maybe health events that you think the community would benefit from. So if we know what people are interested in, that helps us to provide relevant health-based events that the community can need. So if you wouldn't mind taking a few times to fill out that survey, at the end of it, there's a little space for you to maybe leave some contact information so we can continue to contact you about these free health events that we'll be offering in the future, and so you can share that with family and friends. So yeah, please take some time to fill that out, and before you leave, there's a little table behind you there. If you wouldn't mind leaving that survey so we could use that information to better help the community in the future. We'd really appreciate it. So without further ado, I am looking forward to our event today. So thanks so much.
Well, hello everybody, and I would like to say thank you very much that you have come out here today. Some of you I know have driven a little bit, and I appreciate that you've come this far. I'm grateful that God has given me the permission because He has saved my life from MS, and He has blessed me in a very serious way because I was sick in my 40s. And as I was sharing with one of the lovely ladies that came here today, just briefly, I was raised vegetarian, but I went busy in life doing whatever I had to do and became a person that ate everything and anything under the sun. And so as life went on, I got sick in my 40s with MS. And that's what made me stop and take a really good look at what I was eating, what I was doing, and what I needed to change, and was there any hope, for my situation? Because I'm told that I'm eventually going to be in a chair, and this is going to happen, but we'll try, these drugs, or we're going to try this, we're going to do the best we can to keep you well, but, I wanted to see what else I could do. And this is what I'm offering to everybody. Many people we know, most people are either on a medication or someone in their family has a serious disease. This is just an epidemic. Our society right now is really struggling. And so I like to share with people what other options you have. And I think most people are, really realizing that they have some power to make some different choices and get good results. And I can say that in my life, I praise God that that's my experience. So after all these years, I have no meds, no more injections to take every day, no more fears. I have peace and I have joy because I have learned to trust God, and He has definitely changed my life. So I like people, like when I meet people, they think whatever the doctor says, they've got to do that because that's all they know. So God is saying, you know what? I'm here. Don't forget, I'm up here. I made you. I know everything about your eyelashes, your fingernails, your teeth. I know you personally, and I can help you in this situation. And so when you come to that place where you realize that you're not alone and that you respect the doctors, I'm not undermining medicine. I'm not undermining their attempts to help and do what they do because that is what they know. But then God has always been there from the beginning, from Genesis to Revelation, to show you how to take care of these beautiful bodies that He gave us. We get one body, and I'll tell you, I trashed it. Didn't know I was. I didn't know. So when you do things out of ignorance and you decide you want to do different, God will honor that. And so I thank Him that He's allowed me to stand here today and just give you that brief summary of my privileged testimony. And I'm sure some of you in this room have something to say that I'd like to ask as we continue to go forward, that you may have made changes. And it could be the simplest thing of drinking more water. I've seen people with acid reflux, and she said to me after this presentation, I ran into her at the park. She says, I had acid reflux, and I started drinking the right amount of water, and I'm off my meds, and I have no more acid reflux. I said, water, praise God. That's how powerful He is. And so, the little changes you make that you may think aren't big, after time with patience and faith, God can do great things in your life. So you never give up. You always have hope. And you continue to trust Him because He did design you and He knows how to lead you down a better path. Because like I said, I was ignorant. I didn't know. And yet, if you whites, I've got my vegetables, my greens, and yeah, I can have sugar because I don't have no weight problems, so I can eat pastries. But no, everything I was doing was not in accordance to what God wanted me to do. So again, I've learned. I thank you for letting me share that with all of you. And so we're going to start today with doing the simple thing as milk. And so maybe some of you are familiar with this. I don't know, making milk, maybe on milk. By the time you get in your car, you go 5 miles, 10 miles from the house. You're burning your gas. You're paying for too much because prices are going up. Okay, and you get back home. You can make this in 5 minutes. So it's the wonderful thing is it's so easy. So here, right, you go in your cupboard and you get your almonds. So you put your almonds in there. Now you want it thicker and creamier, you can put more. I just put 1/3 cup in here. But I have the samples I brought today of vanilla and chocolate. So the chocolate, of course, is carob, but you'll have chocolate milk samples and the vanilla milk. And so when you go and you buy the almond milk, and we have oatmeal now. You can make coconut milk. There's a diversity, and all of it you can make yourself. And so you know what's in there. There's none of these preservatives. There's none of the other things. I don't have my book on the table. I have a table over here with a lot of books that I thought you could breeze through, and then you could order them online. Take a picture of the books. Those on the table over there are not for sale. There are some cookbooks over here for sale on this little table if you're interested in taking a copy of that home. So just so you have an idea, and there's a million recipes. I always say the kitchen is like you're an artist. My brother has that plaque there, and he has all his paints, and he goes at it. So for those of you who are artists, you know what that is, right? So your kitchen is where you can do your artwork. All right, you got spices, you got everything there. How big can it be? Have you really ever put anything together and it was like, oh, you throw it out? No, you might doctor it up with a little green or yellow or spice, Thinking it as an artist, you can create and be amazed, because I get in the kitchen, I say, Lord, when I ran the cafe in Guilford for 1.5 years free to the community on Wednesdays, I would tell them jokingly, if it's not good, complain to me. If it's good, give God praise, because I prayed before I made it. So I asked him, be my artist. Come in with me into this kitchen and help me, because I don't know how to do recipes, by the way. I'll just let you know right now. I get a recipe, but like most women, I think let me add a little of this or a little more of that, because we do have that in us. You give that recipe, grandmom's apple pie, and 5 grandmoms, and it all tastes different at the fair. How is that? Because we really do like to play in the kitchen, and we like to experiment. So I know I do. So when I do recipes, I'm like, oh, this is it's easier for me to just go in like my mother did, like our grandmothers did, and just whip up what we had, So here we are with the recipe for the milk, though. We have 4 cups of cold water. Like I said, they don't use a lot of almonds, from my understanding, when they make that milk. So you got the water, you've got the almonds. You use your vanilla. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of vanilla. I use a pinch of salt. Again, some people are scared to use salt. Salt's in the Bible, by the way. It's a good thing for you. You don't have to be scared of it. Excessive of salt, okay, is
everything, right?
yes, the excess of this or that is, can be carried away, but salt's good. Now, I'm just going to put a pinch in there.
Is that regular salt, kosher
This
salt?
is Himalayan. So I'm just going to put a little salt. It's like a 1/8 if you want the amount. That would be probably what this adds up to. And so we have the water, we have the almonds, we have the vanilla, and then sweetener. Some of you are familiar with sorghum, maple syrup, and honey. Those are the 3 things I use when I sweeten anything. So some people use agave. I mean, again, we are so blessed in this country with choices. It's overwhelming, actually, sometimes. When I've been to other countries, if they came here and saw walking in a Walmart even or somewhere, they probably have a heart attack. Because we have so many choices here. We're so blessed. So I'm using maple syrup for the sweetener, and that's what's, the recipe that you're going to try.
How much?
I'm using a tablespoon of maple syrup, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1/8 of salt, 1/3 cup of almond, and 4 cups of water. So you've got your 5 ingredients. And now I'm going to make noise. I'm not going to make noise, but Vitamix will do that. So let's whip this up. Now
What's the
some,
lecithin for?
oh, it's on this recipe sheet. Oh, okay. These are the recipes I have here that I did not see that sheet, so I
It says
apologize.
optional,
Okay.
but I didn't know what it
Lecithin is
was.
great. Lecithin is good for inflammation.
I
As
see.
someone with MS, I started taking a lot of lecithin when I found out I had MS. So I have the recipes here that you're gonna try if you want to take a picture of them. I didn't
Okay.
have that sheet, so I'm sorry.
No, that's
But it'll be very close, but it's not gonna be identical. Okay, so this here, some people soak the almonds, okay, because they blanch them. They take the skins off, and that will give you your milk a whiter, like the kind you buy in the store. You don't have to, but you can soak them overnight, and the skins will slide right off. And if you're in a hurry for milk, though, you just do this. Use cheesecloth. You probably most of you are familiar with cheesecloth, and you have that in your kitchen. When you blanch it and use the cheesecloth, you're really going to get the consistency of the milk that you get in the store. So here, this is going to have a little foam here. I'm going to take my little strainer. It's really fine, okay? And I'm going to pour it through there. I save the pulp, the fiber, and I use it. If you have a dehydrator, you can always go home, put some flaxseed, use the pulp, put some raisins, put some spices in there, and you can make a cracker in your dehydrator. Just like when you use your juicing, you do juicing and you got all your carrots and your apples, and you dehydrate it, it makes awesome crackers in the dehydrator. Kale chips in the dehydrator. You can make the kale chips in your oven though too. If you don't have a dehydrator. So here it is. The milk is going through the strainer, and the pulp is in here. The fiber from the nuts. So you can put that aside. So you're making, this is just 4 cups of milk. So, you know, that's all it takes. You know, when you really think about it at home. How many of you have ever made milk at home? Anyone here? Oh, wonderful. Ooh.
Out of cream though.
There's a lot of recipes
Put
out.
cream in it.
Yeah, and they're good too. I haven't had anything I didn't like yet. You know, how good it is for us, well, that's another story, but, you know, there's a lot of recipes out there. All right. So that is our milk. Okay, and we'll have some of that when I'm done with the butter and the cheese.
And I had to put cocoa because the kids would drink it.
You know, I have a lot of people that make, like, they don't tell their grandkids or they don't tell people.
Yeah.
At work, he says, what is it? You said something about oat burgers. This is an oatmeal burger. And I was like, just please try it. He's
It's
like,
kinda cow it
that's
came
not
from.
bad.
Never heard of a cow.
So it's like, you know, it is something that people have in their mind that is, you know, ooh, it's got to be bad. It's terrible. I had terrible. It was terrible. I don't want any more. I never want it again, you know. And or it's, I got to eat meat, or I can't, you know. But it's an adjustment, you know. It's something that takes time, and I always tell people, please be patient. Be patient with yourself. Don't get discouraged when you slide off, which you will, because we do, and we don't want to, but sometimes we do. Or at a birthday party, or with our families. Just get back on the next day. Don't beat yourself up, please. Don't do that. It's like the worst thing for your immune system. And that's what we want, good immune system, because that's what we need, especially when COVID came around. That's when people realized, because those who got COVID, some people, I think everybody's probably gotten it, but some got it worse than others. Unfortunately, we did lose a lot of precious souls because of it. But what I'm saying is that your immune is a really key factor in fighting anything that you get. Now, as I rinse this out to get ready, I was going to say there's a dear lady here, Barbara Barton, sitting back here. Would you share with them while I'm rinsing up this, the testimony that you have? Because I don't know anyone else in the room that may have a testimony, because it's always nice that we share that, because it encourages us, you know, to see how changing your lifestyle can benefit you, and God can restore. He's able to, he said, do you desire to be whole? That's what he asked me. And so when I got the MS, I said, yes, I want to be whole. Please help me. Whatever you choose, I will love you, but I do pray that you choose to make me whole. So let us pray that prayer and remember that God is able to do over and above what we can imagine. So Barbara, thank you.
You're welcome. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. I'd never heard of it until I was diagnosed with it. My eyes were, the only regret I have about this is I didn't let anybody take my picture. When my eyes bugged out, it looked like they were going to pop out of my eye sockets. And they hurt so badly. It was like there was sand in my eyes. And
How long ago?
that was it. I was diagnosed in 2010.
Would you mind standing up front by the microphone so people?
Thank you, Carl. I was just thinking that, yes.
Where's the
Just stand up where she was standing.
Come right here with me, over here,
Okay.
so you're on the camera too, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Where's the mic?
It's somewhere floating out there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Can you hear me now? Is
Yeah.
that it? Okay. In 2010, I went to an urgent care because my doctor is retired, and the person that took his place, I couldn't get in for like 4 months because they considered me a new patient. And my eyes were hurting so badly. And I've noticed a couple of other things. I am never one to watch much TV or be still for very long, but I would lay on a couch with my mom who lived with me, and I just watched television for a long time. But I just thought, well, you know, it is what it is, until my eyes got so bad. They diagnosed, or when I went to the primary care, it diagnosed Graves' disease. And like I said, I'd never heard of Graves' disease prior to being diagnosed with it. And this is the treatment. The first thing they want to do, Graves affects your thyroid gland. And your thyroid controls almost every gland in your body and in your heart. My heart was pounding all the time, and I'd never had high blood pressure. I'd never had anything like that. And the first thing they want to do, well, the only thing they know to do is to surgically remove your thyroid, because the autobodies are there. They are attacking your thyroid. There's nothing wrong. There wasn't anything wrong with my thyroid, but it's being attacked, and it is messing up the ratio of what your thyroid is sending out in hormones to all the glands. And my son, who was in medical school at the time, explained, and please take the heart medicine, Mom. You might have a heart attack. And so I did take the meds, but I did not let them remove. They were going to surgically remove my thyroid because my eyes were involved, and for that they don't want to radiate your thyroid. That's the other way they get rid of it. And then I knew that I would be on thyroid replacement therapy for the rest of my life, because if you don't have a thyroid, then you don't have any thyroid hormones. I didn't want that. And so so I said I was going to go another way. And what I did was I went completely plant-based, completely vegan. And the other treatment they were going to do was they sent me to a eye specialist, an ophthalmologist. And I lived in St. Louis at the time. We have 2 medical schools in St. Louis. We have Washington University, which is one of the top in the country, St. Louis University, and which is very, very good too. And so we don't have a shortage of very, very highly trained and good doctors and specialists. And they were going to, the only treatment they have for your eyeballs bulging out is to, this is going to sound gross, and I'm sorry, but you're completely out, you know, in the operating room, and they take out your eyeballs and they saw off the top part of your cheekbone because it will enlarge your eye orbit, and then they put your eyes back in. Okay, now if that sounds, I mean, you talk about grotesque and you talk about drastic, okay, to have them remove a major organ in your body like your thyroid, that's drastic. To have them take off, do your eyeballs, that's drastic. I felt like if I went complete plant-based, that God would help me. That I would be eating the diet that I should be eating. And up to that, I ate everything. And so after a few months, I got off the heart medicine. What I was surprised with was, and I told my son, I was surprised the endocrinologist didn't fire me. When I told him, no, I'm not going to let you have my thyroid, and no, I'm not going to let them mess with my eyes. And he said, no. He said, Mom, they have, they'll work with you. And the most interesting thing was when I would go in for my, examinations, the the endocrinologist would look at me and he'd say, wow, your eyes are so much better. But I will tell you, he never asked me, not one time, he never asked me what I was doing to make the changes. I have a dear friend who got over lupus, and she went completely plant-based. She was so disappointed. Her doctor never asked her what she was doing. So, but they only know what they learn in med school. And I will tell you that doctors can get sued for nothing, but if they prescribe something that's not in this great big physician's desk book, then they can lose their medical license, all kinds of things. So it's my body. I made the choice. It took about by the beginning of the third year, so 2 full years, all my numbers were completely normal. And they've never fluctuated. They're always normal. And so I don't think that's drastic. I looked at this as an adventure. I looked at it as a way to be able to fix something that got messed up. And I really think, like you said, you were in your I think God made our bodies so strong that if we put the wrong thing in, like in our cars, if we've got a diesel car, we'd never put regular gas in. Okay, but we don't think a thing about putting food in our body that isn't as good for us as what God gave us to eat. And so it's wonderful. And
now, is Graves' disease, is it an autoimmune disease?
It's an autoimmune disease, and they are, even rheumatoid arthritis now is considered an autoimmune disease. And I will tell you, I was a financial advisor, and I found out that you could, and it's one of the few, there are not a whole lot of diseases that qualify for this, but under Social Security, if you have Graves' disease and you exhibit enough of the symptoms, which I did, not just the physical, but mental, I couldn't think right. I could not make decisions. I had retired about a year earlier because of my mom, but I was taking care of my mom. But Social Security gives full disability for Graves' disease. That's how serious it is. And how it affects all different parts of your body. And so it works. And it works for lupus, MS. And God like I started to say, it makes our bodies, when we put the wrong things in, over time, it takes a long time, I think. That's why most diseases don't exhibit until you're in your 40s or 50s. And it's because you've overdone what God did, and there's a reason. Now, when I moved to Maine about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and my new primary care doctor, when I was filling out all those things, the information and stuff, when I went in and saw him, he said, and the nurse had said it before, "You don't take any meds?" And I said, "No, I don't take any meds." And he said the same thing, and he looked at me and he said, "Do you know?" He said, in my practice, and he said he has young at 5 years old and up, he said, "You are in less than 5% of my patients don't take any meds." And I'm 75 years old. So, God meant our bodies to be strong.
Amen.
Yes.
Question, so when you were diagnosed, what was the trigger that made you go to plant-based? Was it something through your faith or an integrative medicine person? I mean, how did you then become aware of it?
Well, I was already doing clean and unclean meats, okay, because of faith, okay, because that's in the Bible. And when I got sick, and I was Adventist, but I had not gone plant-based. And so that's what I did. I decided I was going to do it God's way. And I just went whole hog. And like I said, I think attitude has a huge determinant on how you can deal with it and you don't resent it. And I just looked at it as an adventure. I got new cookbooks, and it was, just experiment time. And my first profession, I was a science teacher in math, and so it was experimenting all the time with different things. And it worked. And I've heard over and over again with people that it does work if we do it.
Being faithful. He's faithful and we're faithful. Isn't that what he
yes.
says? Right? Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much. It's wonderful because so many people are suffering, and there's options again, And so we thank God that He brought us here today to show us these options. And I feel like I'm with experienced people now. I'm going to ask after this butter if somebody else has something to share, because there's God is moving, and He wants to help us. And that's the thing, always being positive and never giving up hope. Never, 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 never. Once you give up, what is there, So the butter is what I'm going to do right now. I poured ice cubes out because you can, when you want to make the butter and you want to get it hard fast, you can put some ice cubes in there. You know that already, right? Yeah, there you go. I'm with experienced people, I can tell. We all have different knowledge. And
Not that I ever do it, mind you,
oh, yeah.
but maybe I will.
Yes. I usually don't have to rush to make butter, but like if you need it right away again, or you need milk, you can cheat, and it's not cheating actually, take that back. That's just being smart, using some ice. Yeah, quick. Thank you, dear. Yes. So I'm just, the recipe that I had, I put down here a cup of each, but I already have butter made, so again, just to show you, and again, sometimes when I go through this with people, I feel like, they don't know how to use a blender, they don't know how to read a recipe. So
Well, that's a fancy blender, though. I don't
What's that
own
you
a
just put in
vitamin.
there? A cup of
that
what?
thing's getting old, but it's still working, thank God. I'm
Well,
sorry?
That is a cup of what you just put in?
I put a cup of, when I made the butter, I usually do a cup because, it's a bigger amount, but I'm going to make a small amount. But this is a half a cup of coconut and a half a cup of olive oil. Again, there's some people that say we shouldn't eat any oils at all, but, again, do your research because oil's in the Bible, salt's in the Bible, and, your body needs good fats because your brain will not function. Eating an avocado every day is really good for your brain. So, getting the good fats is important. So I have that in here, and I have yeast flakes. So I'm going to cut that in half. Yeast flakes.
Is that half a cup?
This is going to be, this is a, it's like a half a, I'm gonna use a quarter cup because I cut this up in half. Because you're not gonna be eating this one. I have it all pre-made already. So you're gonna, it's in the fridge. So, yes.
What did you say that was?
This is the yeast flakes. Yeast flakes.
Nutritional yeast.
Yeah, nutritionally, thank you ladies. Nutritional yeast
I
flakes.
found that the other day. Okay, I know what that is.
That's what makes your popcorn taste cheesy and your cheese taste cheesy, you know, and all that stuff. So, I'm gonna put that in there. And, okay, I'm glad that I pre-made it. Not that you would taste the difference, but I realized I left the house without lecithin. So, my mission has been accomplished because I always forget something. But the one that's made has lecithin in it, and I have a tablespoon of lecithin. That will be in the one that you taste. So, okay, and then I use this Herbamere. It's something I get at the Country Living, the health food store. Again, these things I can put on the counter if you want to take a picture of it. It's nothing but, I guess you would call me a lazy cook because we have all these stuff in our house, you know, separately, but it's all pre-mixed. So, you know, it'll tell you on there it has the celery and the meat. Yes, thank you, dear. That's a nicer way of putting it. I like your way better. And so this is Herbamere, and you know, I'm going to put that into the butter. And you have to be careful with it because when I was experimenting my artsy kitchen, I put salt and I put this, and oh my, it was too much. So I'm going to do it with this just by itself, and then I'm not going to put any salt in there. Just going to use the Herbamere. And again, people, you know, want. Sometimes we're salty people, and sometimes we're not. I've been told, "Oh, you use way too much." My blood pressure's like way down, and I don't really have any blood pressure issues, thank God. But people say, "Oh, you know, be careful." You know, everybody has their mindset of, you know, what is good and what isn't good. And my diet is not the one that's just for you. So you don't, you know, my lifestyle, my diet, I do follow a plan. But some people can't eat pasta. Some people can't digest beans. Some people can't have certain things. People are gluten. You know, I bought some chips for the cheese that, in case you're gluten free, it's from cassava, so you can try the cheese because I do have Ezekiel bread and I have some, you know, homemade bread by our dear brother here, Jim, who I would love to see him do a bread class because that smelled so good when I walked in here today. And I said, I don't know how to make that kind of bread. I said, that's a secret that needs to get out there. So, you know, we have some things for you to try, the cheese and the butter. You know, we got the toaster so we can toast the bread and you can taste what your toast would be like in the morning. Or, of course, you're going to put it on your broccoli or you can cook with it or do just like you would with any other butter. So we have the yeast in there, we got the Herbamere in there. So I didn't have the lecithin, and I'm going to blend this up and I'm going to put a few ice cubes just to thicken it up. There's a million recipes out there, okay? And I gotta tell you, when I make my butter with millet or rice, it gives it a more of a creamier, you know, base. And so the recipes are unlimited. That's why I have all those books over there. My favorite one is the 10 Talents in the top right of the table. The one for sale is a more smaller version of it, but it's the same author and the same recipes. So, you know, again, it's unlimited. When you make avocado, say you want to make an avocado dip and you only have 3 avocados, but you wish you had 6. You could boil a potato and smash that mashed potato up and add it to your avocados, and people don't even know that it's in there. They think it's all avocado dip. Okay, so there's all these little secrets to stretch and use in your kitchen, and that's the beauty of, again, being an artist in your own kitchen. So I'm going to put a couple ice cubes in here. I don't need too much because I put a lot of oil. These are great Vitamix. There's so many good blenders out there. She's getting old though, and I think she's gonna check out on me pretty soon. So I hope it doesn't melt the
Like a
ice cube.
ninja, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Heard of a ninja?
I have one of those too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
Smaller.
Yes. They're good. They're good. I tell people, you know, because they're around $100. You can get them, or sometimes on sale for $80. But it's great to have good tools. We all know that. We women like our tools, like guys like to be in the garage. I never made a small amount like this. When I get it all up, or it's in a pot. Okay, so there it is. It's hard. It's ready to be used by just putting those 2 cubes in there. You know, now you have your butter and it's ready to go in case you need it right away. So, but be careful too. You can burn your motor if you're not right on top of it. That thing, because it'll just the motor. I did one time. I didn't burn it, but I was smelling that she was being strained there a little bit. So. That's your butter. Is this the spatula, Judy? Actually, I kind of like it when it does this. I stick it in the freezer. When I make it, I don't do the ice cubes. I just put it in little containers and I stick it in the freezer. The interesting thing I find, I don't know if anybody have ever been through this, but I think it might be the oil that we use, because I can make it one time and everything blends and freezes together. And then there's another time, I don't know how to, I haven't yet figured it out. That's the thin separate. Do you know why that does that? But I use the same recipe or the same ingredients, and sometimes it separates and sometimes it doesn't. It stays all blended.
How much it's whipped.
Huh?
I think it depends on how much it's whipped.
That makes sense.
Which method do you use? Do you use
Now.
flour?
I'm a now. I like the now product. It's NOW. That when I go to the health food store and I look for plant-based. It'll say vegan on there again because I'm a rabbit. I'm not really vegan. So vegans don't wear leather. They don't want leather in their house. They don't eat honey. And so, you know, I just learned that myself because on my cards I used to have vegan. And then I was like, oh, I'm not a vegan. Okay, so what am I? Okay, I'm plant-based. So, you know, that's
Well,
what...
you can get clover honey, right, but still bees have to pollinate it? Is that
Yeah,
the
I'm
idea?
not real familiar. Can anybody explain the vegan better than I can? Please do step up and educate us.
Well, I know that vegans will not use leather. And in fact, that's when I started calling myself plant-based too, because my carpenter said, you call yourself vegan, but he said, most of your you've got leather chairs, leather couch, you know, so why do you call yourself a vegan? And so I started researching. So they don't like to use like leather shoes, anything like that. And bees, they don't want to eat honey because it's taking the comb out of the honey out of the bees.
The bee has to do anything with a face or anything with a face.
What?
It's anything with a face or anything derived from something with a face. So if bees have a face,
Oh, that's
that's a
interesting.
good way. It's a way for you to remember it.
When
She
I
said that
started
earlier, I didn't get it.
with the plant-based,
Again.
you can eat anything with, don't eat anything that has a mother. Okay, so that means milk, alright, and cheese comes from milk,
Right.
okay, or any meat, of course,
Honey
because
comes
it all
from
comes,
bee, a bee has a
And, yeah, but bees don't have mushrooms.
That's what I'm saying, anything with a face.
Yeah.
Is it easier to use with? But honey, it's so good.
Yes, it is. It is good, and so many flavors of honey. It's amazing with the bees and Saga's bees are becoming extinct. That's what they're saying. We have less and
So
less
can we
bees.
get back to the lesson then again?
Mm-hmm.
Do you use the granules or the liquid?
Both. I have both at home. And I like the granules. I actually take the lecithin. I sprinkle it all over my fruit, and I take spoons of it. And it's very tasty. Right, sprinkled on top of your salad dressing on your salad. So it's good for you, and it doesn't have a bad taste. It's something that tastes very nice to me. Just like chia seeds, flax seeds. We need our omegas. So you get all that from the chia seeds and the flax seeds. Flax seeds are really good for you too. Eating that as much as you can.
Flashes.
Now just so you know, when you get coconut oil in here, so if I rinse this out, I'm going to throw it outside because I don't put it down my drain because it'll get hard from the cold water and then I'll have a problem. So we don't want the church to get back because of my cooking class. I'm going to put it outside. The reason I did it in this order too, it's easy to clean the blender when you do the milk, because instead of doing the greasy stuff in the beginning, because even at home, I won't rinse it that much because there's such little in the blender. You know what I'm saying? That it's not going to affect what you're making. But let me put this outside. Now for the cheeses, I had made smoked paprika cheese. I made a spicy chia dill cheese, and I also made a cheese it's called bacon flakes, bacon powder. It's a BAKON. Smells kind of like bacon. Now I made all those cheeses with cashews. This one I'm going to make with potato and carrots. Some people can't have nuts, but if you can have potato and carrots, this is going to be like the nacho when you used to go to the movies and you couldn't eat enough of the nachos and dip in the cheese. That's what this is going to be like because it'll be warm. The other ones are cold. So again, I brought chips for somebody that might be gluten free, and if somebody can't do the nuts, we'll have this nacho cheese so you can try this. So
are those raw potatoes and raw?
What you're going to do is you're going to cook the potato and the carrot equal parts. You're gonna, I think this is probably about 3 cups of each, okay, of the potato and the carrot.
You think
So
you
I
can
cooked it.
substitute the turnip into the carrot? I mean, the turnip for the potato?
Yes,
I don't eat potatoes.
yes.
And so you just boiled that? Or?
Yes, I boiled this and saving the juice from it, okay. Because you're going to use the broth from your carrot and potato. Now, I may not, again, do this whole thing. Should fit. It's going to be a lot, though. Can't have too much, right?
So you're making cheese now?
Yes, this is the cheese and a potato and carrot. Has anybody done that? Made cheese out of potato and carrots? A lot of people use. Yes, you did. Okay. Who else did?
Mac and cheese.
Yes. Cheese is good. We like cheese. I eat a lot of cheese. We like our cheese. Okay, so there's pimentos in most of them. I couldn't get the pimentos So the substitute is roasted red pepper, and you can also use a fresh red pepper if you want to. A lot of times when I cook too, I happen to like the fresh herbs. If you have fresh herbs, a lot of people have their little pots of oregano or whatever. And putting that in is nice. Because I don't know about anybody else, but it seems like my garlic powder and my garlic, my onion powders, I'm using like double the amount because I don't taste like I used to taste. I don't know if it's my taste buds. Like you said, when most of us had COVID and they said your taste buds, my food still really tastes the same to me. But, I've known people that their taste went away with COVID. They couldn't taste their food anymore. But I find over the last, even before COVID, it doesn't have the real garlicky or onionly taste. So I will often put fresh onions and garlic instead in that instead of the powder. But that's up to you whether you want to do that or not. But I brought the sweet onion. Red onion gives it a nice little kick. You're going to be using olive oil and lemon. So the lemon and the olive oil you keep to the very end because that goes in at the very, you see how it'll change the color of the cheese because it's going to look like carrots at first. Now this was the juice that I had from the carrot and the potato earlier, and it has some of the butter in it, a little bit of the butter in it, but I'm just going to blend this up right now. Because like I said, save the broth from your water, because that's what you'll use, and when it's hot, it keeps the cheese hot. But the Vitamix will make it hot too. Vitamix, I remember my brother having a Vitamix, and I didn't know it could make soup, It's quite the machine. It heats everything up. This girl, she's not working like she used to. She's getting old. I'll be looking for a new one. But Vitamix can really warm up and make hot soup instantly. See,
I don't understand, why does it feel hot?
I think, personally, like I said, I'm definitely going to have to get another one because it doesn't even sound right. I don't know if any of you have one at home.
But you could
It's been sounding funny to me.
I mean, it's an advantage.
Huh?
You can. I made hot soups in it, and you don't have to mess up a pan. Everything's all done at once.
Yeah.
Interesting, I never tried that.
It's an expensive tool, but it's a tool.
It's
Ask
worth
your
it.
husband how much his lawnmower costs.
Because they're 400. They run
I use it
400.
I use it almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Different things.
Well, the potatoes, the carrots, I'm going to put some yeast flakes in there. Like again, you can take a picture of the recipes if you need to. it seems like if it's really hot too and there's not enough liquid, I think that what makes it hard when the motor's getting, that's why I think my motor's kind of jumping out a little bit. So I'm gonna put in there some raw onion. Half a cup of raw onion. I do have the powder with me.
Another nice thing about the Vitamix is the easiest clean blender I've ever had. It cleans itself.
Yeah, yeah. Mine's gotten stained with the turmeric because some butters, they'll say put a little turmeric in there for the color, you know. But and I'm going to put some of the roasted pepper in there.
So this is gonna make like a loose cheese, like a
This-
cheese sauce?
The nacho cheese. Now, depending on how thick, because it'll thicken up in the refrigerator overnight. Because I used to, when I did the cafe, I would make grilled cheeses. Everyone loves the grilled cheese. Oh, kids love grilled cheese. And so when you stick this in the refrigerator, like it'll be warm now, so it's going to be runny, you know, and you can spread it over your chips. But when it sits in the refrigerator, it'll harden up somewhat, you know. And again, how much water you put in from the pot will determine its consistency. So
Are those roasted peppers in vinegar or just warm?
this is just the ingredient. I look for things with the most simple ingredients, and if I can't read it, I don't want to eat it.
If I can't.
Water, salt, and
Yeah.
citric acid.
I
Yeah.
can't pronounce it, I don't want it.
They say if you can't read it, don't eat it. I said, well, I'm not the best reader in the world, so I'll be all right, you know. So, I mean, Annie, the little boy, could read those dinosaur names. I wasn't able to read those so good. Okay. Got the lecithin. We got some pepper in here. So I have the lemon. Where's the lemon? Excuse me, the lemon's in the car.
And that's lemon juice that you squeeze.
Lemon juice, fresh lemon, and cool it off a little bit. See, as you see, it looks very carroty right now. When I put the oil on the lemon, it's going to look more like the nacho. It gets a little paler. How many in this room like to cook freestyle or only can cook a recipe? Any recipes?
Freestyle.
Freestyle? Freestyle, freestyle,
I follow a
freestyle.
recipe and it fails.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, me too.
I don't believe
But I
it.
can't ever get her recipes.
Nobody.
And they're good then, because you
People
want
ask
them because
you,
they're
you know,
good.
How'd you make that? I have things that I do make from my head. But
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Sometimes you can make the menu the next time.
It's not going down. This is not supposed to happen. This is not part of the class. Lord, you know this was going to happen though, right?
Do you have the plunger?
No, I don't have that. I don't know what, I lost that a while back. I moved. Trying to stir this. It's blending at the bottom, but it's not pulling it down. It's supposed to pull it down, right, Barb? You know? Yeah, you have Vitamix. It pulls it down. That's why I think my motor's burning out. It's not working proper. I still recommend the Vitamix. I've had a real backup. I'm going to put some lemon in and some salt. And I hope someone's praying for me. Someone praying for me because I could use it right now, this little bugger.
You can use regular salt too, right?
Yeah, you can use that. Yeah, sure. The Himalayan salt has some minerals in it that I learned about, so I use the Himalayan salt.
is that fresh squeezed lemon or?
This
Yeah.
is sea salt together.
All right, little girl. You gotta work for me.
Food in my house.
Alright, give this a try, and we'll have our hot cheese. I'm gonna pour some of it out, I think. Mix it up and see if I can't get it to work with half of this in there. See, I used to make a lot like this at one time and it worked. So, I'm gonna just pour some of it out, run it, and then we could have our samples and talk a little bit. Margaret, do you know if that
freezes very well?
Hmm?
Do you know if it freezes?
You know,
very
I've
well?
never
I
tried.
haven't either.
I think, you know what, now that you said it, I will try. I'm gonna
Might
see.
separate. That's
Hmm?
what I didn't know. It might separate.
Yeah, because potato. I've never froze any of the cheese, actually, ever.
What about the almond milk? Does that freeze?
Yeah, I think that freezes. I know people that freeze it. They freeze the butter and they freeze the milk. But the cheese, yeah, I'm not sure. See that, like this one here is orangey. When you put the lemon and the oil in, it looks more like the nacho cheese that you're used to getting when you go out. So that would be your milk, your butter, and your cheese. And I'm gonna clean this up and put the samples out so you can try them. Is there any questions, comments that you might have that you'd like to share with us? Any testimonies? Anything at all?
We can use a regular blender.
Yes, you can. You can. I just had this thing forever, and
Regular blenders don't work well.
they don't work as
I've
not.
had mine for 21 years, so it
I don't even know.
might, it might work.
Is the
Okay.
base metal?
No.
That would
You know
be
what I
good.
mean?
Yeah.
Right. My toaster's from the 70s. My coffee maker's from the 70s. I got tired of buying
Pray
new,
over it. Pray over it and work
and
it.
it
It's like sewing machine.
It's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
The metal ones you can't move it.
I can share a couple of testimonies.
Oh, please. That's what is nice. Please come over here.
It's gonna scare me to look at them.
Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Karina Kapp and I'm from the Norwich Walk Church. And I had someone very close to me who had a family history of high cholesterol. And he went into the doctors and the doctor said, he knew me by this point. He worked well with me and he said, Karina, you have 3 months to do whatever you're doing. But if we come back and his numbers are this high, we're looking at medicine. His points, 60 points.
Ooh,
So he did not ever have to go on medicine.
wonderful.
And I myself have been fighting hypothyroidism about 8 to 10 years. And that, I was working with naturopaths and doing research, and the naturopaths, a couple of them, the important thing was gluten-free. That's hard. I could live on spaghetti and bread.
I'm with you.
The
Yeah.
gluten-free, out of all the changes I've made, it was the hardest. And I'm still not a purist, and I like, diets are a struggle, right, guys? So things come up, and yeah, diets are a struggle. So I do the seesaw thing, and but try to be pretty good. So I again did the research and was getting guidance. I did give my thyroid some help by supplements, making sure that they were raw as possible and plant-based as possible. And I would go in every year to see my doctor and get my stuff checked. So he put me on levothyroxine. I'm on the lowest dose. And then I would go off, do research, make up a plan, and get my hand slapped, and go back on the levothyroxine. And I did that for 8 to 10 years. My last 2 tests, my thyroid is working again. So I just think
That's huge.
I just think I didn't get there in 2 days, and I didn't come out in 2 days. And I did get discouraged. I thought, because my doctor kept telling me this was genetic. Your grandmother had it, your mother had it. You're not going to fix this with carrots, Karina. And I kept saying, I am.
Thank you.
I did get discouraged,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided that I was going to continue just to give God the chance, right? Because if I quit and stopped doing it, then I was barring God from ever doing that for me.
Thank you. That's beautiful. I have seen her for years. Her and I bump into each other too, but this is the first time I'm really getting to know you, and this is a very personal, beautiful testimony. I thank God that your thyroid's working. It's huge, just like Barbara and her Graves, me with the MS. So that the whole key here is never give up on God.
Amen.
He will, and He is able to do over and above what you can imagine. But you know, there is someone that wants you to give up, but you know, we're soldiers. We're soldiers. We are bought and paid for, so we don't give up. Can I just wait one minute? I'm going to just ask Bruce here first. I saw his hand up first.
Yeah, I have never been a big meat eater, but I've gone to vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
I have what they call Behçet's disease syndrome, which has attacked my eyes, like rheumatoid arthritis and Crohn's disease combined. And the medicine I wouldn't even take, couldn't afford it. It's $25,000 a month, and I had to pay 20% with my insurance. So, really been more into it the last few months. And when Mike came to first visit with me, I couldn't see out of this eye, and this eye was so bad that I had to read with a magnifying glass a large print Bible. Well, thank God I can read the small print with just glasses, and it's improving every day. I'm off all medicine,
Bruce.
and I had pot gone. I was smoking cigarettes gone in a moment. They were gone. I prayed about it. God just took them, and so bad that I actually got sick when I was after praying about it. Lit up a cigarette, got sick. Lit up a joint, got sick. That was it. No cravings, no wants. And this is part of the reason here. Thank you for this and
Praise
many
God.
more.
Praise God. We all got to keep sharing. We all got to keep the faith. We are really blessed. God is able. Always remember that, no matter what you're going through. And sometimes, you know, we all been in those places where we feel abandoned, or we're not sure where the things are going to head. Or, you know, there's somebody that wants to make you doubt and be discouraged. And yes, you'll have those moments. So like I say, you know what? Be good to you. So you know what? God is bought and paid for me. And you know what? I'm not going this route. I know I got to hang in there. God help me. And I'll tell you what, He will do it. And as we have heard these testimonies, and share them. Share them. Don't keep them to yourself, because people need that right now. Like I said, there's most people on a medication, or someone in their family has a serious disease. You are to be a light. God has called you to be a light. So I thank you for, you know, coming here today. I praise God, and I know that whatever any of you are going through, physical, mental, or spiritually, it's all connected. Our physical, mental, and spiritual. So we are blessed by God that He wants to make us whole. I love when He said, do you desire to be whole, Margaret? And I'm crying. I'm saying, yeah, I do. Get in the house. I'm setting up with one floor. Got to get the RAM just in case, you know. Thinking ahead. And I'm like, thinking ahead? I'm thinking like I have no faith. What in the world is this all about? And so again,
I think we tend to, like an expert tells us, this is how you're going to end up. So we go, yeah, okay.
and
It has a lot to do with that.
yes, God gave us each a mind. And the Bible says, you know, whatever you hear, whatever you see, you go and search it out. Seek me first, and all these other things will be granted unto you. So you search it out, and I promise you, confidently, that He will give you the answers to whatever you're dealing with, and He can make you whole. So I praise Him today that He brought you here. You listened to the call, you came, and you haven't come here just by chance because you had nothing to do this afternoon. He wants to bless you. So thank you so much for your time and for coming. And I'm going to set out the goodies now because I'm hungry.
And your recipes for the
While Margaret is setting up to eat, let's have our drawing. Take out your lucky ticket. This is the cookbook we're giving away today, A Better Way of Life, Healthy Recipe Book. It's got over 120 vegan recipes, plus tips, tools, and resources. It's a spiral bound, it's really easy to use, and there's some really picturesque there. There's desserts, there's milk, there's cheese, there's all kinds of different recipes in here to help you stay on a healthy vegan diet. So I'm going to ask you, would you mind be the guilty person to choose the winner?
Okay.
Okay, and if you pick your own, then I would know you cheated.
I'm mixing them up, okay? I'm telling you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay, here's one. This one's calling me.
Okay. You want to read it?
2737. They're probably all there. 2737 546.
546. Somebody,
Nobody.
nobody has it?
I'm gonna be 556. It's not us.
Not either one of you?
No. 546.
Okay.
Wow.
Throw that one away.
To leave, you lose.
You got to be present to win anyway.
Okay. Here we go again. 2737. This is not mine again. 536. It's the same person you left. 536.
They all have the same number?
I hope that they handed these out right. You guys do this? All right. I should have thrown it up there.
So much for the lucky person. Listen, I
This is
haven't
supposed to be
laughed.
simple.
I haven't laughed in 4 days.
Well, that's good.
Okay, 2737. Again, it's not mine. 540.
There you go. Now, we do have extra copies of this. If you would like them, they are $25 a piece. We do have a few that we can sell if we want. That was And please don't forget your survey if you do those for us before you leave. And also enjoy, sample the bread that Jim made along with the cheese, the butter, and the milk. We thank you again for coming and being a part of our cooking class today. We're going to be doing more of these. Really leaning towards hydrotherapy. Anybody ever heard of hydrotherapy? It's really,
Used it for my dog.
Yeah.
How do you use it for people?
yeah, that's a good question. We'd like to help you answer
Oh,
that.
you did it on your dog?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
Would
never
you like
heard
to
that.
talk just a moment as you're setting up about hydrotherapy?
Well, hydrotherapy is, as we know, is what they did back in the ancient days, okay? I mean, hydrotherapy's been around a long time. I learned that at school. Don't ask me for the dates. But it's something that people have been doing for quite a while, and it is amazing. I mean, I hurt my knee, and, you know, I did the treatments, and it would be 3 minutes of really hot towels on my knee, and then 1 minute ice. So you have a bucket with the ice, okay, water with the rag in it, and then you have the hot as you can take it. And so my knee, I tell you what, I couldn't walk. It was amazing. In 2 days, I was up and doing fine. So hydrotherapy, even on your hands, you know, you can dip your hands in warm water, then cold water, you know, for inflammation, to help with your hands and your joints. So there's so many different ways. Fermentations, people use fermentations. Some of you may be familiar with that. There's a lot out there. I have a book. I want to start doing the treatments myself. I haven't done them in a long time, so I'm going to start doing them again with a friend of mine that you'll be meeting if you come back to the next class. And we want to help people understand that these are the things, again, that you can do in your home or to help your loved ones. And hydrotherapy does work, again, because God is so simple. You know, He gets all the glory, and that's why the whole point of hydrotherapy is. That God is saying, watch what I can do, because with your hydrotherapy, again, you got to have faith in something outside of yourself, and not just anything, but the God who has created you and sent His only Son. So hydrotherapy is something, as Carl's sharing, we're going to do some of that down the road.
It's amazing. Hydrotherapy can help organs, joints.
Oh, yeah.
It's so many different things. The body wants to heal itself if we help it.
Oh, give it the right environment. But consistency, don't forget. It's just like when you go to the gym. When I was pumping iron, you know, and when you're doing something consistently, you get the good results. When you don't, if you're not consistent, you're not going to get what you need to get. So there's always somebody that wants to derail you, and you know, God is a God of order, and he's saying, be consistent, because again, if you're faithful, I'll be faithful. So to God be the glory. Yes.
I just wanted.
Barbara had her hand up too. Both of you know, but please, Tisha, no.
The hydrotherapy. I mean, I don't know too much about it, but we went kayaking with my kids, and my daughter stepped out of the kayak and got a big gash all the way down her foot, and it was like that green, mucky, just nasty, very warm water.
Bacteria.
And you know, we were a good 2 hours out, and so by the time we got home, you know, it was very red. It was starting to swell, and we immediately did the hot and cold, moving the foot from one to the other. And I guess, like scientifically, when you put it in the hot, it's drawing the blood to the foot, and that's drawing all the antibodies. And then you put it in the cold, and then the body regulates back down, and then you put it back in the hot, and it's like it's a new draw, and the swelling went right down, the redness went completely away, and this is like within the half hour of doing it, and we never had to take her to the ER, never had to put her on antibiotics or anything. That one was the thing that sold me. I was like, this was incredible, because I thought for sure we were going to have a major infection.
And you know, Manuka honey, you're all familiar with Manuka honey. That is one of the best things for bed sores or any sore for anything. Michael?
Yeah, does that work for arthritis?
I believe it helps. I've known people to use hydrotherapy, and yes, and it does help. Arthritis is a tough one because, you know, as Brother Bruce here has experienced the pain from that. Again, I always say to people, these treatments are very good, but you still want to change your lifestyle. Because we don't want to use essential oils or any herbs to be the substitute for chemo or medications of any form. Some people say to me, well, what can I do for this? And they don't want to change their lifestyle. They just want an essential oil, or they want something like that. So, you know, I say to them, what are you looking for? Why are you asking me? And then, again, going to the core of the problem. Where did the arthritis come from? Because cause and effect. The Bible says the cause won't come without an effect. So the consistency, and again, be nice to you. Be nice. God is working with you. So that's the Barbara.
Had arthritis real badly, and when she went off dairy, complete dairy, all gone. And she went vegan with me, and within 8 to 10 months, she was so much better, and she didn't have the pain after that she had before.
Okay, let's step up and enjoy some samples. They'll go on the table. Just put them on the table. The surveys are on the table. Right in the basket.
Plates out.
Right in the basket. There you go. Right there, fine. Yeah, right there in the basket.
There might be some in the bathroom. Oh, right there. I don't know if that's empty though. Is there any in there? Oh, there is. Now I know.
Don't be shy. Step right up and sample the products.
Bread looks so good.
Make some toast. We get the milk and the.
Do your research.
These are the.
There's always get sales.
Here. Get the hot one out.
Is this the hot one?
This is the spicy one. This is a regular one. This has a little bit of cayenne. Hints of it.
The recipes lined up.
Toast. I want to toast the bread. I should have put the butter.
In their factory, they have the same one.
Did you want to get out?
No.
Or are you in line?
No, I am not in line.
Okay.
They can cost about $500 or $600 if
You got tongs for the chips.
So what about, it's just terrible. It came out on me yesterday after I walked.
Try it. You have Manuka honey? Manuka honey is
I don't know
good
what
for
it
eczema.
is.
You know, eczema is a serious condition. A lot of people
Yeah.
I
have.
don't know if it's eczema.
The Manuka honey will help with that.
Those belong to.
You can put it on there and you will
And
watch
it came out on me really bad. I've been
Were
nursing
you
it.
outside working in the yard? Or was it?
Yeah, no, I haven't been working in
Well,
the
I
yard.
got a couple of them on my arm.
Yeah, brown tail moth, I don't know. I don't know. Could be. So that's a spicy one.
This one, well, when I say, I shouldn't say spicy. I call it spicy, but it's,
Oh,
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Spicy, like hot fire. Yeah.
What is the difference then?
This one here, this one has the, can you smell the difference? Here it's got the smoked paprika. This one's the plain one. I'm gonna.
So what's the verdict?
Delicious.
Is it? Awesome. Yeah.
Good. Let me get the hot one. Chocolate now. Let me get
Yeah. You don't like cheese? I wish I was like you. I'm a cheese
I
guy.
like this.
Cheese was the hardest thing for me.
I don't eat
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I have a friend.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I don't have your disease.
Oh, wow.
And they were vegetarian. They couldn't give up the cheese, but he went out to he was at Kmart. And New Start now, I think they call it. And anyway, they told him he needed to give up the cheese.
Let's say everything.
And he got off.
Okay, this one is the smoked paprika. It's got the bacon and the cheese, and this is plain. This one I wanna put out.
So I got that off and then. Yeah, that's what I have. And they were then right now.
Have this lovely bread.
What do you like? Frozen or something?
But I like this.
Which one?
This is the milk here?
Yeah, that's the chocolate. I'm trying to stir the vanilla up.
Oh, sure.
You didn't have any going there?
That's awesome. Wow.
Want to jump right in line there, young lady? Try some of that.
That's really good. So
Do you?
And you use carrot, she uses carrots.
Is that what it is? Carob?
This one's the carrot and the potato cheese.
Let's use some of the chocolate milk.
Oh, that's carrot.
That wasn't you?
Wow.
Like the milk and everything, that stuff? Don't do anything that's gonna make you slow.
Yeah.
You want to call 911?
It's taking the pictures of
This one is.
There's a different flour.
Yes.
Oh, which flour?
It's awesome.
I usually use spelt flour.
Bruce, nobody getting you anything?
I'm gonna try to find my way up.
We'll get you something.
Pass on the sour. I love
You
it.
want some of everything?
Yes.
Like mom's cooking, or grandma's. I had made the nacho cheese, and it doesn't. It's not sliceable, but it'll hard enough where you can spread it on a bread and make little cheese.
What about the?
There are cheeses that you can, you have to use.
What
Do they call that? Egg agar. Oh yeah, yeah. I've had that before. I did it. I made it. What? I didn't can try it.
Well, you got something to do, so I was just on my way to do it.
Yeah, or you can get them before.
No, looks like you got it
Yeah,
covered.
those pure cold cashews, that one.
Okay, so they are,
Yeah.
they're not sliced.
So which one is the butter?
You'll probably save money if you make it yourself.
I'm gonna do toast. I'm gonna make toast so you can try it on toast. Alright.
Which one is the butter though? I'm curious. Which one of these is the butter?
It's in the refrigerator.
Oh, it's in the refrigerator?
I'm gonna take it out, because I left it out and it started melting.
Yes, that's Jim's bread.
I'm gonna bring this.
Oh, I can put the butter out, so you can put it on his bread.
Wow.
This is butter here?
Anybody want to try the vanilla?
Oh yeah?
Yeah, wait.
You want the vanilla milk, anybody?
I would.
Where did they go? They were over here.
I don't know.
Alright, let's try and do this. I'm gonna try.
Wow, that's a big
I know,
jar.
I know.
Like
The
this.
small one I had.
What if I did this?
That would be like so appreciated.
There you go. That's enough.
I know,
You're
I'm
gonna
just
get all
thinking
messed
about
up.
that. I do, I'll substitute. But it just makes the difference. Good. It's a little bit sweeter.
I'm gonna ask.
Alright, this is the non-nut one, right?
Potato, carrot, and cashew nuts. Did you say one was spicy? I heard the word spicy.
This one here.
This one?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Okay.
How good is that?
That's because everybody's palate still
Yeah. Always saves you money too. You know, you buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe I want
Do you want some milk? Could you hold it up though? We're having a bit of a challenge. I can't do it.
I think there's pictures.
These are not big, right?
Yes.
I can change it. Get out of milk I have. I can't drink it anymore. Now let's talk about cheese.
I'll just do the regular milk. That's the first thing I'm gonna try. Make it myself. Very good, thank you.
And then you read it.
Does it taste like the coconut? Sometimes I don't know if there's one that doesn't taste like coconut. Yeah, yeah.
Which one is the carrot one?
It's the carrot.
that.
Did you want some milk, chocolate milk? No.
That'd be great. I'd like to try one.
That's my
downfalls.
chocolate.
So what did you use for the chocolate?
Carrot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody want buttered toast?
Yeah, I'll try a butter toast.
Yeah, I'll
Try
try
this
one.
cheese too.
You know, I don't like cheese.
And she loves your cheese.
I can't believe I.
I always make too much. It doesn't go to you, it goes to my neighbors. They know me. Toast? Did you want toast?
Thank you. Yes.
And you want a toast? Did you want this toast or this one?
That one's fine.
Carl, you want any toast? Thank you.
We need to not keep
There's Ezekiel bread.
That's Ezekiel bread, and this is whole wheat seedy bread from Little Lads.
So I want
Ezekiel?
that. You need that?
Then all of
This is the spicy one.
Oh, sure.
Well, I shouldn't say spicy, because spicy to me is really rough. I know people that like really
I mean, it's
hot.
got some, yeah, it's not real hot,
It's
but
not.
it has some zip.
It's a little cayenne, that's all. That's what I use.
I'll try some milk. What, chocolate milk?
Yes, huge chocolate coming up.
One that was spicy.
Thank you.
Someone told me that the bread at the Subway has so much sugar in it that it's equal, they don't even consider it bread. Someone was telling me that the Subway bread has so much sugar in it that in England they don't even consider it bread. It's more of
It has high fructose too, doesn't it? That might be what's in it, the high fructose. And that's addictive. So, when you, I didn't know that, I found that out, high fructose from the bread in the bread.
Well, I thought it was interesting what you said about the lectin inflammation.
Yeah, I started taking it right away. What do you need, sweetheart?
Mike wants a piece of bread with butter on it.
Okay. Which one does he want? You want the lecithin, I mean, lecithin, the Ezekiel or the,
I don't think it matters. He said he wants to try, I guess he tried the chips, now he wants to try the bread with butter.
Cookbook, the big one?
that one is 20.
20?
Yeah.
You say 20? How much for the small one?
The small one I have over here is God's Pharmacy.
Huh?
These two are
They're the same price?
this one's 15.
50 or 35?
This one's 20.
Toss the rest in the kid.
Try a piece of bread with butter.
I just asked you one. There's also bread down here, homemade from James. This is the seedy wheat, and this is the Ezekiel. And this is the homemade.
He made his homemade is with Ezekiel. That bread with Colorado?
These are
I've had this before, it's great.
Bill bought Palm Beach.
Thank
Have you
you.
had the Ezekiel sprouted?
Enjoy.
I really like
He needs change, doesn't he?
Did you try it? I just tried a little bit of sea sauce, but I want to try a piece of bread.
Touching money, I gotta watch it.
I'll get it.
I learned that working at a restaurant. You money. And you wanted this one?
I mean, for